Okay, we're going to talk about the cardiovascular system. So the cardiovascular system functions, I've abbreviated it into Dr. Timothy. And to break these down, the first one is delivery of oxygen and nutrients, because we need blood as a fluid to carry around oxygen where it can bind to the hemoglobin and other nutrients. The second one is the opposite of delivering oxygen. We're also going to remove carbon dioxide and other waste byproducts like lactic acid that's generated in the muscles and travels into the blood. The third one is transport, and this is going to be the transport of hormones. And really the body just uses blood as a method of getting around and making sure everything gets to where it's supposed to be. The fourth one is immune response. Oh, that's not a laser pointer. An immune response is necessary because we need our body to fight off infections. The fifth one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth one is maintenance of fluid balance to keep our body functioning and stable. And the sixth one is thermoregulation. So our blood is made up of 4 main components, and the first one is plasma. Plasma is mostly made up of just water, and it's what allows blood to be fluid and allow blood to flow. The second one is red blood cells. They're also known as erythrocytes, and they make up about the other large proportion of our blood. And erythrocytes, they have a bioconcave disc shape, and they have hemoglobin groups, heme groups, attached onto them to allow oxygen to bind to be carried through the blood. And leukocytes are white blood cells, and they're really responsible for phagocytosis of infectious cells. And leukocytes allow for our body to battle against diseases. And then platelets are responsible for hemostasis, so blood clotting factors and allowing your body to really form clots that don't allow you to bleed out. Okay, now to look at the main 3 blood vessels. So we're going to start off with arteries. Arteries carry oxygenated blood away from the heart, with the exception of the pulmonary artery. The pulmonary artery is the only artery that carries deoxygenated blood away from the heart to the lungs. So arteries, because they have to carry oxygenated blood away from the heart to reach muscles, they need to have thick muscular walls to withstand the pressure and a small lumen. So a lumen is basically, if this is the passageway of your artery, the lumen is the centerpiece. And like with a hose, if you squeeze a hose, the pressure will be stronger out the end. So if we have a small lumen, we are able to exert greater pressure and allow the blood to go where it needs to be. The second one are veins. Veins carry deoxygenated blood back to the heart. So after the oxygen has been deposited at the muscle and it's been used, that blood then goes back to the heart for more oxygenation. And then also with the exception of this is the pulmonary vein, because the pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood back to the heart, same as the opposite of the artery. Veins work under low pressure because the blood has already been delivered, which means they can be less muscular and have a larger lumen because they don't need to exert as much pressure. But because they work against gravity to carry blood back to your heart, they need valves, which are kind of like trap doors that are one directional to prevent backflow. Because if our blood was going up against gravity and then suddenly went back down, it would just not reach your heart. So the valves ensure that once the blood flows up and is pumped upwards, they can't go back down. And then the last one are capillaries. And capillaries are a dense network in the alveoli, and they're one cell thick, which minimizes the diffusion distance for gases to travel, mainly oxygen and carbon dioxide. And they have a maximized surface area to volume ratio, which makes transport of nutrients and gases really efficient. And that is what we use to calculate cardiac output. So cardiac output is the total amount of blood ejected from the left side of the heart, measured in liters per minute. And the reason it's ejected from the left side, we can explore this further on in the pathway of the blood, but the left side of the heart is the blood that's supplied to the rest of the body. And cardiac output is the product of heart rate times stroke volume. So heart rate is the total beat of the heart per minute, and stroke volume is the amount of blood ejected with each contraction. So when we talk about exercises, we have 2 types. We have submaximal exercise and we have maximal exercise. Maximal exercise is when your cardiac output is maxed out and you can only sustain it for a minimal amount of time before you reach exhaustion and your heart doesn't really work anymore. The second type is submaximal training. Submaximal training is when we can maintain a constant cardiac output that isn't at our maximal rate, and our heart rate then increases at constant increments and without exhaustion, reaching exhaustion. So that is a basic intro of the cardiovascular system.